Good morning, welcome back to IsoDevotion series. We're picking up in Mark chapter 4, and for the first time, at least in Mark's gospel, Jesus stops. Up until this point, it's been action-packed, event after event after event, and in chapter 4, Mark actually includes some teaching of Jesus. And we have in this chapter Jesus' first parable, the parable of the sower, and I love the fact that Jesus would teach in stories. Who doesn't love a good story? I mean, stories are relatable, they're easy to listen to, they touch our heart, they give us warm, fuzzy feelings. But Jesus' parables are intended to do much more even than that. And actually, verse 9 of this chapter, we read, Jesus says, "He who has ears to hear, let him hear." And these are words that we will hear Jesus repeat quite often. In other words, there's much more going on here than meets the eye, than this simple, straightforward story. And so probably for the rest of this week, we're going to stay on this parable of the sower and unpack some of what Jesus is talking about. Now, Jesus, through his parables, reveals the principles of the kingdom of God, and that's what he says to his disciples. They've been revealed to you, but for everyone else, they're going to have to do a little bit of digging. For anyone who doesn't really care to understand, they're going to miss the point of these parables. And so while Jesus coming to this earth and his death and resurrection and salvation is a free gift to anyone who would receive it, there's also an expectation, there's also an onus on the hearers of Jesus to take the initiative and to dig a little bit deeper, to find the meaning behind these parables and to get the gold out of what Jesus is teaching. You know, Jesus has an expectation that his hearers will be hungry enough to seek out those deeper meaning and to apply it to our lives. And so Jesus tells this parable. Listen, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants so that they did not bear grain. Still other seed fell on good soil. It came up, grew, and produced a crop, multiplying 30, 60, or even 100 times. Then Jesus said, "He who has ears to hear, let him hear." Well, that's the parable, but our time's just about up for today, so I'm not going to go any further. But if you'd like, go and read it yourself. Mark chapter 4, verses 1 to 20, and we're going to unpack a little bit more of the meaning of this parable over the next few days. I hope you can join in again tomorrow. Bye now.